Welcome back to the channel. Well, I'm gonna record this video a few days earlier. This is going to be you'll see this on November 15th, which is a day that is kind of a holiday around here. It's November 15th, which is the opening day of our firearm deer season. And in Michigan, especially around here, it's an unofficial holiday. They close school because the attendance is so terrible that they can't count the day anyways. So but anyways, so actually today is November 11th, which is Veterans Day, and I want to say, thanks and appreciation to all our veterans out there who have served or who currently are. So appreciate you for what you did there. But anyways, and my yearly thing for Veterans Day, I have a customer that I always take out for lunch. So he's actually, he watches the channel. I wish he bought more stuff from me, but that's beside the point. But it's kind of our thing. Business is business. So it is, kind of our thing that it's a set in stone that, hey, we're doing lunch on Veterans Day. I'm buying. So that's my thanks to him. He's a former Marine, so what they call them, jarheads, is that right? But anyways, I want to do another edition of Tractor Talk. I did it the UBs last month, and I said, hey, I'm gonna try to do it right around the 15th. So I'm thinking ahead and did some more research on a certain model, and this model is really near and dear to my heart. And there's probably a lot of other people who share the same sentiment about the U302 Super. So between me and Dad, we have, I think, 6 302s now again. Let's see, 3 diesels, 2 gasolines, and 1 LP. Yeah. So anyways, I want to do a little bit of talking about them. This is my 1967 example in gasoline. Dad has a 67 diesel. I also have my 66 LP, which is right down here. So this is one of my favorite tractors as well. One thing about the 66 series, let me back up a little bit. Today I'm pretty much only going to talk about the Supers. We'll do the U302, we'll call them low bands or the early or regular. We'll do them on a separate video. So I don't want to, make you people think that I forgot about them. No. Minneapolis Moline didn't really have that many models, and I'm going to try to do this, once a month for quite a few years, and I just want to separate a few things. Anyways, the 66 models was the first year for the Supers, and they were still a brown-bellied body, similar to previous models, like this M5 is a brown-bellied body, we'll call it, and then, had yellow sheet metal, in the nice fenders as well. So yeah, this one, I love this tractor. It's fun to drive. Actually, all of them are fun to drive. But yeah, it's getting kind of late in the day here, but and it's nowhere near warm. So I'm gonna try to get somewhere here, sit down in front of the tractor, and we can just talk about U302s. So and I'll walk around the other ones that I have here. There's, like I said, there's 2. Dad's got 2 out there. He's got a 67 diesel and a 69 gasoline, and we'll get to those. We'll talk about those or some of the features that those had on them. But anyways, I made a whole bunch of notes. I want to thank Brian Gagne for his research as well. I didn't contact him recently, but I had in my text that we've talked before about production numbers and this and that, and he's always been very helpful with that, so I'm going to give him credit as well. And of course, I had 4 other books that I've acquired that I looked through and just made a compilation. Jeez, sometimes words are not that easy to say. So Yeah, U302 Supers, made from 1966 to 1970. They were available in gasoline, LP, and diesel. In FYI, there was no diesels made before 1967 in a U302. Sorry. Jetstar 3s, that's different. But that's a totally different video. I'm getting down a rabbit hole. But anyways, so in 1966, U302 Supers come out. The gasolines and LP gases were powered by a 220-inch cubic inch spark ignition motor, which is not a whole lot bigger than the size smaller, the 206 that was in the Jetstar 3 Supers. There wasn't a whole lot of difference. A little more horsepower and 38-inch tires was the biggest thing, the biggest difference from a Jetstar 3 to the U302s. Yeah, I absolutely love these tractors. They're super handy. They're easy to drive. They're right in that nice horsepower range. They aren't too big, aren't too small. You can still do a lot with them. Most of the time a 3-bottom plow tractor, but like I said, just not much bigger, just higher profile than a Jetstar 3. All right, let me look at some of my notes. Yeah, right there. First thing I wrote down is one of my favorite models. So I have quite a few favorites of these tractors. Let's see what else. So the bore and stroke, sometimes people want to know this stuff, sometimes they don't. In the LP gas and gasolines were 3.75 times by 5 to give them 220 inches, and 4 cylinders. The diesels were 236 cubic inch, and that is 3.875 by 5. So some production numbers. So in at least two of my places where I referenced and looked it up, they had the 66, 67, and 68 spark ignition, which would be gasoline and LP together. So in that time, there was 1,669 U302s made, gas or LP, and 147 of them were LP, according to Brian's research, and he's done tons of research. And those numbers do not include the 50 that were made in 1969 and 1970 in LP, and they had a different prefix, and I'll get to that just in a second. So with the prefix of 276, that would have been those with a spark ignition 1966, 1967, and 1968. 276 would have been the prefix on the serial tag, I should say, which would be on the right side of the transmission. Yes. Okay, so with the prefix 277 would be the diesels, which they only made 190 diesels. So I know that 190 no longer exists as in a whole tractor, and I know that as in 3 years ago, I think it was, maybe 4 years ago, number 1 U302 Super Diesel does exist. And when I seen that, I tried to buy it off the guy, and he didn't want to sell it, which I totally understand, but I had to ask. And at that time, I think we had 3 diesels that time as well. So, okay, next prefix is 361, which that is for the 69 and 70 U302 Super LPs. So, like I said earlier, they only made 50 of those. So that's pretty rare. If you can get a late model U302 Super on LP, that's a pretty rare bird. I would say highly sought after if the person or the collector or whatever likes LP. There's a lot of people who don't really care for LP stuff. I think a lot of that, they don't understand them, or they're scared of them, or, and this is a valid concern, is filling them. So it's not, like I've said before, you just don't take the cap off and pour in LP and put the cap back on and away you go. Nope. Not like you can, gasoline and diesel. So there is some other ones that there's not a lot of information on. And I'm wondering, I don't know if it's military or if it was for the construction industry, but there is in one of my books I was reading, there's a prefix of 437, which was a modified U302 with a 220-A4 motor, and I don't know if that was for a forklift or I don't know. And it also said in another book that I was reading that there's very, very little information on these, and there was also for the diesels a prefix of 448, which they also was some kind of a modified thing. So I don't, like I say, the diesels were D236, -4, and I've said before, they really only put them in the 302 diesels and I believe a forklift or two, or a model. There's not a lot around there. Some people will tell you, and I'm not going to argue, that the diesels, the 206 diesel as well was really not that great of a motor, and then salvage is almost non-existent. So we had an issue one time. Dad had a push rod that was bent on his diesel, the Shark, and couldn't find them. Had a couple options of cutting down a different out of a different tractor, a gasoline one, and had put a new end on them. I don't want to say I was fortunate, but from asking around, there's a local guy who was owns a machine shop and does fabricating. He made me some push rods. So, and of course he didn't want to just make one. He wanted to make 4, and it cost $100 a piece. By the time he made them, heat treated them, did all that stuff, he wanted to make 4. That was kind of I don't want to say his minimum, but it was his minimum. So I have 3 extra ones. No, I really don't want to sell them, but if somebody really got in a pinch, I could help you out. But it's going to cost you over $100 plus shipping. I'm here to tell you. That's why we got into them, and it is what it is. So I know right where they're at too. Okay, let's talk horsepower. So the gasolines and the LPs were real close according to the Nebraska test. On the PTO, they were rated or recorded at 55.82 horsepower on the PTO. Then on the drawbar, 46.89 horsepower. So that's so it's around a 50 horse tractor, we'll call it, give or take a little bit. It depends on your tires, and all that jazz. I don't know really how much you can really, how much more you can really get out of them. The diesels, which this surprised me, is a little less than gasoline and the LPs. So diesel was 52 on the PTO and 44 on the drawbar. So, and again, there's only so much horsepower you could probably get out of. We need to. I haven't told you this yet, but I have made a deal on a dyno. I don't have it home yet. I need to get it home, but I want to test that 900 gasoline. But I also want to test Dad's 302 diesel. It has, if you're new to the channel, it is the tractor we call the Shark. We didn't name it. It is painted gray, and the whole story, since this is 302 day, I guess, or 302 we're talking about, it was the very last Minneapolis Moline that my grandfather bought brand new. Must have been somewhere around 67, 68. Used it for quite a few years, or a few years or whatever. Got a bad batch of oil and did something to the motor, and they couldn't get parts for it at that time. So anyways, so they traded it in, actually on the 900 diesel that we have. And the one of the mechanics and a friend of his bought it, and one of those two guys bought it. Anyways, they both worked on it. How's that? Then they turned it into a puller and painted it silver, named it the Shark. So the pump is, assuming the pump is turned up, and they did whatever they could, out of that tractor. So that tractor, and it has a straight pipe on it, so it does sound maybe a little more beefy than maybe it is. I don't know, but I'd be curious to see if it is on the PTO over how much it's over that 52 horsepower. I asked the old boy, you know, a long time ago, he was thinking it was somewhere between 70 and 80 horsepower. I don't know. So could be, you know, we can't argue with it yet. Tell you, you know, get it on a dyno. But yeah, that is neat. Options from the factory standard are, you know, normal equipment, tire wise was 13.6 38, and this tractor actually has 14.9 38s on it, which is, you know, a little bit taller. But anyways, and the option was 15.5 38s. I want to say that most of our 302s have 15.5s on them. I think those kind of look the best. These 14.9s, at least I'm pretty sure they're 14.9s. Now I'm second guessing myself. Where's that? Of course, it's on the bottom. Nope, these are 13.6s. Okay, I stand corrected. This tractor has the original 13.6s on it, and these are power adjust. I thought they were. I think there's another one around here that has power adjust on it as well. So a couple other options they had, and I'd have to look a little closer. And I think this one, yeah, this one has the regular duty front end on it, which would be the normal, I don't want to call it light duty, but not the heavy duty. You know what I'm saying? The HD. And you'll notice where the clamp, how there's two pins right here, they bolt down. Well, let's go look at this 302 down here. This would be the HD, and there's not a whole lot of difference. I think it's the diameter, but see how these pins go horizontal. So that would be the HD front end on this one as well. So just you know, just quick glance. Value wise, to me, means nothing. You know, the difference there. You know, other people, they might think something different. So, but anyways, then the other options were, there was 5 options. So there was the regular version, we'll call it, the HD, both, you know, adjustable wide fronts. You could also get the dual narrow front, you know, which I don't have one of those here. And also available was the single front wheel. So I'm trying to think. I may have seen a picture of one that had that on there, but I don't think in person I've ever seen one with a single front wheel. I have seen narrow fronts, and I have seen the 5th one, which would have been the standard front end, you know, non-adjustable, you know, something similar to this G here. You know, not exactly the same, but the same concept. So yeah, that is kind of neat. So standard equipment also on 66, 67, and 68 would be the fenders. We'll call them, I like to call them, you know, it's not really a crown, but the crease goes up like this. You know, it's still a relatively flat fender, but that is one of the things right there. So like we talked about earlier, the 66s were a brown belly, which, you know, which we call them, you know, the brown body with the sheet metal frame rails, fenders, and all that stuff being the yellow. So then a 67, like this one here, they went to all yellow. And by the way, this is serial number 2301, which would be the number 1 in 1967. So possibly the first all yellow U302 right here. You've seen it. So anyways, I am missing that side tank cover. I do need to get one. So all right, let's walk over here, and both my 302 diesels that are here, which I have a 69 and a 70, are right here. Let's do the 69 first. It's a little bit dark in here, but here it is. So 1969, you can see this one has the well, this one has that front end on it, which that would be the HD one. But anyways, so 1969 should have white wheels on the back, and you know, these are the what we call a flat top fender, completely flat on top. Yeah, that was one of the things. And you know, one thing that differs between 302s and Jetstar 3s is frame rails, and frame rails were only available on 1970 Jetstar 3s. But anyways, we're getting down a tangent. So again, I'm trying to talk about 302s, and look what happens. Okay, so this is my 1970. Yes, it's painted the wrong color. I know. It is supposed to be all yellow, 4 white tires. It's supposed to have on the front here the word white would be across here. That is supposed to be on there as well. And these side panels right here would be white on a 1970. Also, the other giveaway is a steering cylinder right there. So that is another one. But yeah, this one here I believe is number 182 of the 190. So fairly late 302. So I do want to repaint this one eventually. This one has power adjust on it too. I was wondering, I was second guessing myself. That one doesn't, this one does. Okay, so yeah, I have 4 here. Okay. Oh, I'm just babbling, talking to myself. But anyways, yeah, so that's the 302s in a nutshell. Yeah, like I say, some of my favorite tractors. Yeah, this one here, the lights work and all that. This one's actually, both these tractors, well, all of them, they steer so easy. I just like I say, it's one of those tractors that there's, I don't know, they're very handy, easy to operate. They aren't so big that, you know, they're fairly nimble, I should say. But yeah, that was, I don't know, it's a good one. So let's see, what else can we say about a U302? This one needs new tires on it pretty bad. These are 15.5s on here as well. So yeah, this tractor, let's see, where did I get to? Oh, I bought this one out of Indiana. Kind of central Indiana, we'll call it. Not, you know, getting too location specific. So then my yellow 69 diesel, that one actually used to belong to my uncle, and I got that from him, and that's actually where Prairie Gold Princess came from. My 1970 came from the same place where we got the Shark, where I got my 1970 M670 Super Diesel, and I bought a few other tractors there as well, but I can't keep them all, and you know, I had to recover some of the funds. So anyways, and my LP come out of Illinois. So that was yeah, long and skinny of those. So it's kind of cold out. I guess I could start them up, but this one here, we can start it because I kind of really want to put that blade on my 900 gas over here anyways. But I can see if, I think I have a battery in this one. I think I took the battery out of that one. All right, battery is on that one. All right, see if she'll start. This one here, sometimes she doesn't like to start real quick. It's kind of cold-blooded, this one, for whatever reason. Oops, now I flooded it. We're not going to start it. Well, I'll have to put the battery charger on this one. Good times. So okay, we're not going to start that one today, or at least at the minute. I might actually later today. When we got home from my trip from Indiana, there was some snow on the ground here, but it was melting. I was in about 45 minutes northeast of here earlier today, and there was 6 inches of snow over there. So they got a little more, they're a little bit closer to Lake Huron and lake effect snow. So that could cause some problems too. There's some areas, there must have been some kind of a north or northeasterly wind, and they got dumped on. So I heard visibility was not so good. So All right, well, I'm gonna get back to working on a tractor in here. I think an RTI is on my list to do. I wish I had heat in the shop, but you know, if I was a smarter guy, I would have got that all taken care of this summer, right? I know, I agree, but I got, you know, thinking about other stuff and doing other stuff. But yeah, we've got lots to do around here. So I hope you enjoyed this little thing here, and I'll be back. I'm gonna get to work here, and we'll get this video uploaded for you on the 15th, and I'm sure there'll be some other stuff before that. So hey, appreciate you watching. Leave a comment. Hey, please do the whatever model. I am gonna wait to do the 900 video after I get the Grandpa's 900 done. When we get that done, or at least really close to done, then we'll do the spotlight of that. So I've got some plans. I'm trying to get worked out for some other models as well, just to, you know, get some more pictures. And yeah, there's lots of fun stuff coming up. So hey, appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one.